Hey guys, it's Samantha from Samantha's Designs. Today we're going to make a card that I've been wanting to do for a while. We're using So Sweet from the Paper Studio. I love this little butterfly. I'm using some hexagon dies as well and a piece of acetate that I believe is Judikins. It's the kind that you can heat emboss, though I'm not heat embossing on this one. I'm going to start by cutting my paper down into strips. I decided to do 1-inch strips, and if I were to do this project over again, I probably would do varying widths. And there's another thing I would change too, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So I'm just cutting this down into strips, and I decided I wanted to put these on the acetate in order so that you could still see all of the pattern paper. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I need one more strip. So I'm going to cut that one too. And then I'm going to use a corner. You can use your stamp positioner if you have one, your scoreboard, whatever, but I wanted something that had a corner to it, because you know how I hate measuring and stuff, but I'm trying to be better, and I was trying to make sure it was straight, so I'm going to use that corner to help keep everything straight. Now I attempted this card before. It's just a floating card frame, or whatever you want to say. And when I did it the first time, I used liquid glue. Don't use liquid glue on acetate. It peels right off. It doesn't work. So I'm using my really strong score tape for this. And yeah, I thought when I did that, I was like, oh, why did you use glue? That's not going to work. So I didn't quite get these in the right order, so I had to get them all straight again. And then, like I said, I'm using my stamp positioner. And here's my self-made little wreath builder. I've got a bunch of magnets, and I'm trying not to get them apart, so give me a minute here. If you've ever dealt with those magnets, they are hard to get apart, and I didn't realize I left that in. But anyway, we could ready that out. Now I've got my acetate in the corner, and I'm going to peel each one of these strips, and I'm going to start at the bottom and get it right there close to the bottom as I can. And I'm just going to lay it down. The nice thing about using this as my tool is that hard plastic piece, I can use the measurements. See, I'm just kind of making sure it's about a square away, even though it's in between the squares. But yeah, the tape won't stick to the white plastic part, the measurement part of the board, which is nice. Okay, then I moved it down to the bottom just so I could do this last one, and I don't need, it's a little too yeah, it's too much, but that's okay. Now I'm going to move, I've cut it down, I've got my piece all together and what size I want it to be, and then I'm using that hexagon die, and I'm going to cut out a hexagon out in the middle, and then I'm going to make a little frame out of this gold cardstock. This is Recollections. You get this from Michael's, and I really like it. It's not too heavyweight. It's just the right weight, and I put those two together just to create a nice little frame, and it's stitched too, so that's a nice detail. Okay, to put this on, I'm putting some more strong adhesive on. I'm using my 1/8 of an inch, and it's, you know, it goes over the sides, but you can fold that back. It's not a big deal. You can fold it back on itself and kind of twist it around so it's going down the sides. That's what I decided to do on this, so I didn't have to tape every side of this hexagon. With this method, there's some tape pretty much everywhere, and I just thought that looked really cool. It's a really nice accent for this card. I thought it just yeah, made that opening pop, and it's not exactly centered. Again, I didn't measure, but I still like it. I think it turned out really well, and with the elements that I used to decorate it, it turned out to be the correct spacing. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to use my foam tape, and I'm going to give it some dimension. Here's the other part I would have changed. If I were going to do this again, and I probably will do another floating frame at some point because this was a lot of fun, I would use thicker. This is my Jot that I love. It's kind of a thinner, fun, you know, self-adhesive foam that gives dimension. I would use the thicker. I tend to shy away from using the thicker because I just don't like it as much, but on this one I think it would have been much more dramatic had I done that. And I'm just cutting off some little slivers here for that very top piece. So this is what I didn't like about, because I made all the things, the slices of the pattern paper an inch. If you'd have varied, it would have looked a little bit more impactful, because then I have that really thin one at the top, which ends up, when I put it all together, looks fine. I just was, I think if it had been varied widths, it wouldn't have looked as strange. Now I'm putting this down just a little bit so I can put some pencil marks so I can get my sentiment in there. I'm using Spellbinders. This kit from the September 2021 Spellbinders Card Club kit, and it says, "You are beautiful inside and out." Love this sentiment. I have to say, for the Spellbinders Card Club kits, that's one of the things I loved most about having subscribed to them last year, is they have great sentiments. Yeah, so that really helped out my stash. I'm doing this in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm just eyeballing it. That could have gone wrong, but it ended up going okay. So, because I did get it centered pretty well. And then I'm just going to erase all my little pencil marks. And then I'm going to lay this down, trying to center it. This could have gone really wrong too, but it worked out fine. And then I said, okay, now what do I want to do to decorate it? What am I going to do? I went to my Dollar Tree stash. I found some cardboard flowers, and then see this purple one, and then I decided to add a butterfly as well. I thought the yellow one went together with it pretty well too. I just loved how this turned out, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm also going to make a bonus card with the cutouts, so if you want to stay tuned for that, I would appreciate it. And I also would like for you to subscribe. If you will, please subscribe down below. Leave me a comment, a like. I appreciate it so much. Now, I layered the gold and the hexagon that I had left together. And you know what? I'm looking at this now. That butterfly is upside down. I can't believe I did that. And then I have this little sentiment strip that I added to it, that I end up moving this because I didn't like it where it was. But again, I'm going to use some of those Dollar Tree elements, another butterfly and flower. And I was like, okay, it needs something. What in the world am I going to do? And again, I didn't like where that sentiment was. And even though it covers up the gold, I decided I'd put that right in the middle. I was okay with that. But what I did decide to do is use my little stylus and a little bit of paint. I used some gold paint that I had out on my table that I've been doing some other projects with. And I'm really digging using more acrylic paint in my paper card making. So I'm going to use this packaging that I know I'm going to throw away, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put just a little bit because you don't need much. And then I'm going to use my stylus, and I'm going to make a little trail for the butterfly. As you'll see, I just lay it down and then drag it just a little bit. So that makes a little trail. And then I just made some dots, 1, 2, 3, right there together and right here. And I think it added that little bit of something it was missing. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I'll see you next time. And again, a like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love that so much. Have a great one, guys.